Orlando has been the city that created the most high-paying jobs. So it's not just quantity, it's also quality. And that comes from this industry, the STEM industry, that stands for science, technology, engineering, math. This is happening because Lockheed Martin, Boeing, SpaceX, many companies dedicated to aerospace engineering, they are expanding or opening their headquarters around here, and they're creating fantastic high-paying jobs for our population. So this is where we are. The median home value has been increasing at a much faster pace, 104% more than the national average. And Forbes magazine then, if you have read this article, placed us as the #1 city in the United States for investment. And so did 10X. This is the monthly rent as compared to the US. We are going up at a pace of 20% higher than the national average.
然后这个是2020到18年的增长
Now,
率，
in terms
它
of
就是在
tourism,
奥兰
because
多
that
这边的
affects short-term
租金
business.
增长率是
Now,
跟
short-term business is a
整
very
个美国
controversial
总体比起来的话是，奥兰
Because
多这
in
边
the
是
past,
上升了
what you
10%。
may have found if you do your due diligence, and I know that you're going to do it, you're going to find that people sell short-term rental with promises of very high return on investment. Many times those promises do not materialize. Second, short-term rental historically has been a product that is difficult to resell. When people needed to liquidate the asset, they have had a hard time. What I'd like to tell you and show you and prove to you is that we've changed that history in our 2 short-term communities here in Orlando, both Champions Gate and Story Lake. But I don't ask you to believe in my word. Please go to MLS and look at all the resales for the past 6 months for all the short-term communities in the city. And what you're gonna find out is that our 2 short-term communities, because we have a waiting list for most of our products here, our 2 short-term communities, the resale right now is selling for a higher value than what we are selling a new home today. And this is happening because the owners don't want to even wait 6 months to receive the keys for the home. So we created this demand through a lot of very intelligent decisions. And I'm going to cover a few, and a few I'm going to keep it as a secret because we don't want our competitors to find out. But I'll show a few of those. But going back to tourism, why did Lennar decided to get into short term? You know, it was basically because of this. The only city in the United States where we do short term is Orlando, because this is the only city that we saw this phenomenon. In 2005, Orlando for the first time passed New York, and it became the capital of tourism in the United States. We had 49 million tourists coming to the city in 1 year. New York at that year had 45. And then we kept that record for 2 years. And then in 2008, do you remember what happened? We went through the recession. Back then, we thought that the recession was going to wipe out at least 1/3, if not half of our tourism, such as it happened in New York, in Los Angeles, and in Las Vegas. But that did not happen in Orlando. In Orlando in 2008, during the recession, we almost broke the record again. So we were puzzled. We did not understand the phenomenon because it was the first time we were seeing that during the recession. At the height of the recession in 2009, still, we had almost 47 million tourists coming to the city.
4900万的游客，05年的时候，然后08年的时候，经济衰退，经济大衰退的时候，就是这边预计会旅客在奥兰多会少了1/3，但是结果的话，08年的时候，它依然就是非常接近05年的数量是08年的时候是4800万9000。
Was in terms of investment, very interesting. Because people that had invested in residential homes in the city, they lost money during the recession. We all know that. They have recovered since then, but during the recession they lost money. But investors that had invested in hotels, in hospitality industry, those did not lose money because the hotels were still full.
就是这
during the
边的
recession.
旅客都
That's
是
when
一
we
直在
said,
增长，
you
然
know,
后
we
到
should start
2017
getting
年的
into
时候已经是
hospitality in
有超
Orlando
过
and create a product that
7000
is
万
very
的
attractive
旅
to
客游
foreign
宿，
national buyers and others,
每年
but
都
a
来
product
日本这
that
边。
kind of
对啊，为什
showed
么？
resilience
2018
during
是
a
7500万，
recession
涨
time.
了300
对
万。
18年的时候
Now we are not
再涨
hotel
多了
makers
300
and
万，
it's not our
就每年
expertise.
都
We make homes.
都在
So
以
what we
300万以
decided
上
to
的
do
速
is
度
to
在增
create
长。
a hybrid product in an
所以
industry
这
that
边的
already
短租房
existed,
需
which
求
is
量
vacation
以后会
homes.
是非常的大，因
But we
为
looked at the
酒
industry,
店
and
的
as I just
供
said
给
right
量
now,
已
and we
经
saw tons of
它
flaws
增
in
长
the
的速
industry,
度已经没有
several
这边
things that
酒
we
店
didn't
建
like.
设的速度快了，
So
所以
what
之
we
后就
decided
是
to
要
do
靠
is
短
to
租
change
房
it.
来
And that's what we're doing with
来
Champions
支
Gate
撑
and Story Lake.
旅客的数量。
So now in 2018, we broke the record again, 75 million tourists coming to our city.
对，
We
2018
keep
年的
on
时候就
growing.
有7500
Now
万的
I'm
游
gonna
客
ask
来
a
这边。
question. Let's see who's courageous here. This is gonna be tough, right? I don't think anybody's gonna raise a hand. Let's see. What is the average percentage of international visitors out of the 75 million that come to our city every year? What
大
is
概有
the
多少是国际上的游客过来
50? 60?
？60。
Yeah. This is the answer.
就是只有10%的游客是从国际上来的，90%的游客是美国本
It's
土。
just 10%.
对，就是在
If you
奥兰
go
多这边
on
有
online and you Google
只有
what are the cities,
10%
most
其
visited
实是国
cities
际游
in the
客，
world, you're not going to find
但是有
Orlando in that
90%
metric.
其
You
实
know
是
why?
美国本地的
Because
消
they
费
only
者
measure
来奥
international
兰多这
flights
边
into the
度假
city.
的。
You're going to find Bangkok #1, then London and France battling for #2.
就
Orlando is
其
way
实
down
奥
there
兰多
because Orlando has
的
about
内
7,
需
8
非
million
常大，然
international
后就是
visitors
美国游
versus
客通常来的
39,
话都是
in
一大家
Bangkok.
子过来，然后
However,
一大
we
家子
here
过来的
measure
话，他
also
们就需要一
domestic
个非常
traffic.
大的一
Those that are
个
coming through the
房
roads
子，里面
and
有特别
trains,
多
they're
的房
coming
间，
into the
然后
city
还有
and
设备
flights,
有厨
domestic
房，
flights,
外
we
面可
measure
以就
that
是
traffic as
烧
well.
烤这样
That's
子。
why we know that we have a tourism that far exceeds the tourism that we see in Bangkok, in London, in Paris, because they don't have the domestic tourism that we have, which is 90%. But that's truly important for one reason. When you buy a vacation home and you're going to manage your vacation home, you have to think that 90% of times, the people renting the home will be Americans. And that changes everything. You got to think of Americans as being your target audience, not an international client. So if you design the home for international clients, you're going to miss it. If you decorate the home for international clients, you're going to miss it. If you position the home in a place that is not attractive to domestic buyers, you're going to miss it. So there are many components you got to take in consideration. And we took that in consideration when we designed our communities. Now, Orlando, 75 million tourists. Have we capped? Are we at the top? Can we grow any more? Everybody in the city and people investing here believe so. And I'll tell you what has been happening in terms of infrastructure. First, our international airport. We just finished the first expansion of our airport. It went from 36 million
然后
passengers
现
to
在在讲奥
45.
兰多这边的
And
基
now
本
we are
建
working
设。
on our second expansion, which is going to take us to 85 million passengers, which means that our airport will be one of the 5 largest airports in the world by the
奥
time
兰
we
多机场
finish
即
with
将
our
成为
expansion.
全世界第5
Now
大
we're
机场。
trying a novelty here. This is a city of dreams. We dream really big in Orlando, so we're trying something really cool. We are building train stations inside the airport. So the idea is that you can arrive by train and take a plane, arrive by plane and take a train. Pretty cool idea, very interesting. Saves a ton of time for those that want to travel and commute from one city to another. So 2 train stations are already, 2 train companies are already signed up, and the services will begin soon. The first one is Virgin
对，所以它现在就是
So Virgin
机场
Train
里
is
面
going to connect
现在
us
会
all
有
the way
2
to
个火
Miami.
车站的公司要跟他
Now,
们合作，就是
I've been in
火车
China a
站里
few
面也
times.
是
I've
会
had
有
the
奥
privilege
兰
to
多
ride
机场
your
也
fast
是有
train
火
in
车站
China.
这样子，
This is not the same thing.
所以他现在就
You
是
know,
给
it's
你
a
看一
fast
个高
train
铁
for
的一
in
个
American
视
terms,
频这样
not
子。
in Chinese terms. You know?
它会连接
So,
奥兰多
you
到
gotta
迈阿
say
密。
that. But this project is estimated to be completed by 2020, 2021. You know, it's going to go at 125 miles an
然后
hour.
这
you
个
know,
火车
better
它的
than
预
a
期
car.
完工是
And safer.
2020年
And it will have
或者
16 departures and arrivals every
2021
single day, so anybody can just go to the station and catch a train, you know, within a couple of
就是这个
hours.
奥兰多，然后一直
So
往
this is
南
going to be
边的一
fantastic for
个
us.
高
We
铁。
expect
所以
over
说，它这
2
个高铁
million
的
more
建
people
设算
visit
是
our city just
因为它
because
有
we're
这样的
adding
人
this
口支
train.
撑。
Now we have our internal train here. This is called the Sun Rail. We already completed 16 stations. It's connecting north-south, and now it's going to connect east and west. This year, the project just take us all the way to Tampa. So 61 miles so far already built, and we already have about 16,000 riders in this train.
每一天有16000
In
个
terms
乘
of
客。
traffic, you probably hit our I-4, which is the main artery of the city that connects, the main hotels to all the major parks in the city. I am sorry. It is a mess right now. We are renovating the entire structure. It's a massive endeavor. We even decided to call it the I-4 Ultimate. The name Ultimate is because this is the largest expansion of a road in the United States today. It's absolutely massive. And you can see here our old I-4 and what the new, this is the old one, and what the new I-4 is going to be. Let's see if it'll let me go back here.
但是之后的话就会扩展成好大的一个高速公路，然后这边的路都是新修建的。
This is a massive project because it's the biggest artery in the city.
它的高速公路会变得很。
它这样目测是4条变8条的这样一个状态，然后高速公路还有高架桥都是在建设，一直在建设。
We are just counting the days for that to happen because once it is done, it's gonna take just a few minutes for us to go from here to anywhere in the city. So that's going to be awesome for this community over here once the project is completed. Now we have more rides coming up. Cool one is the tallest roller coaster in the world, and it's also the tallest drop tower in the world. So currently, this is the tallest building that we have in our city, and you can see here how tall this monstrosity is. The first passengers of this roller coaster will break 5 Guinness World Book records. So if you want to participate, we can sign you. We have also Star Wars Galaxy Edge. Just opened up. We don't have all the rides open yet, but it is a beautiful project.
所以它是基础建设，然后娱乐建设也是在这边一直的在扩张当中。就是要建一个全世界最高的过山车，然后还有就是19年的星际主题的游乐园还没有完全就是全部开放出来，也是还在继续扩大当中。
This is important to us because we just did a fantastic experiment. When we opened the Harry Potter rides in Universal Studios, it increased the number of tourists inside Universal by 25%. So since then, Disney has been looking for a franchise that will do something similar to them. So we know that this will attract a lot more tourists that want to come back, or new tourists that want to see the Star Wars. Now, we just got big news a couple of months ago. Universal Studios decided to build a third park, and this one is called Epic Universe.
然后就是 Universal 它要在这边建一个主题乐园，
I'm gonna tell you a
叫做
secret right now,
Epic
but I
Universe。
would recommend you not filming this and showing to your clients yet, because it will hurt you. Trust me. Okay. This park is gonna be phenomenal. And we kind of knew that Universal was planning something like this. It was a secret, but we kind of got a little bit of an idea of what they were doing. And so we were able to purchase a massive and the last piece of land that was available right in between the current Universal parks and the new Epic Universe. It's right here. You can practically bike with a bicycle go to the parks. So this project, though, is going to only be released in 2 years, which is going to coincide pretty much with the Epic Universe. But that means that if you stick with us, if you like Lennar and you want to do business with us and you get comfortable with our products and comfortable with our city, you will know that 2 years from now, you're going to be able to sell what we believe will be the most successful product that we ever launched in our city. Because this sits right on iDrive It's all
Universal 的
neighborhood
两个主题乐
in
园之
between
间
the
要
two.
再建一个度假屋，但是这个只
But
是
again,
会
don't
2
tell
年
your
之后才
clients
会
yet, otherwise they're not going to buy anything. Now they're going to wait
开
2
始
years
可以卖。
to buy something. We are going to be visiting a residential community of ours that is right by this new tennis facility. The USTA moved its headquarters from the state of New York here to Florida because of our climate. And they created the largest tennis facility in the world. There are 100 tennis courts already opening and functioning, and there will be 40 more being built in the future. So Orlando is already officially the capital of golf in the United States. We have more golf holes than any other city in the United States. What the USTA wants to do is turn us into the capital of tennis in the United States. So right now they start with this facility. They're trying to sign contracts to bring some major tournaments into the city, and hopefully that will happen in the next few years. But I don't know if you're going to have time to visit the facility, but it's really quite phenomenal. And again, this brings a lot of new people into our city. So all this capital, all this investment, all this tourism that keeps growing at a pace of about 2 million tourists more every single year, the hotels, they can't keep up. There is no time for them to get permits and build a hotel, which is a process that takes many years. They can't do that fast enough. We are much more agile, much faster. So we have been providing a solution to the market by creating vacation homes. Vacation homes that are designed to please Americans, but produce high income and ROI to the buyer. So what is a vacation home again? It's a home that has a license, a hotel license that allows you to rent it like a hotel on a daily basis, weekly basis, and monthly basis. The homes, you're going to see several of them today. They're designed to accommodate entire families. Now, let me refresh your memory. Remember, we said that 90% of people that will rent those homes are Americans, right? The Americans, as they are a little bit culturally a little bit different than the Chinese people, and I am from Brazil, different from us. In regards to family, we usually, our family, we stay closer longer. When our kids turn 18, they don't leave and move to another state, like the American families do. This is normal here. My son just went to Pittsburgh, he's 18 years old, to study at Point Park University. It broke my heart. To me, that's not my tradition. I would like to have my son close to me until he's like 24, 25, and now he's saved money to buy his own home.
短租房是可以完全出租给游客的，然后他们的设计也是按照美国的文化，就是会有一个非常大的 kitchen， 就是可以 support 一家人里面5、6、7、8个人过来都完全没有问题。
So if you have kids going creating new families, when they do a family reunion, it's a big thing. It's going to be 18 people, sometimes 20 people. Usually it's a lot of people involved. So far, what is the capital of family reunion in the United States? Orlando. Why? Because Orlando is a type of tourism that pleases 3 generations. Kids are happy, parents are happy, and grandparents are happy. You cannot do that, unfortunately, in New York City. I love Broadway. I love going there. But it's not for 3 generations. Las Vegas, definitely not for 3 generations. Orlando pleases 3 generations, so families decided to do more family reunions here than in any other city. So now, if you want to do a family reunion here, you have 2 options. You can rent 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 hotel bedrooms, where people are all spread apart, so they're not really reconnecting and doing what they came here to do, which is reconnect the family. Or they can rent a vacation home and stay together and still have privacy, still have their own bedrooms and bathrooms, stay in a sophisticated environment that will be equivalent to a 4-star to a 5-star hotel. They have plenty of entertainment inside the homes, like game rooms and movie theaters. The kids have thematic rooms, so you're gonna be so excited. And in the end of the day, when you come back from the parks and the kids are still full of energy, throw them in the pool, let them burn that energy, and go for a glass of wine, because our price, Lennar is a very peculiar company. When we give you the price of a home, it's with everything included. Right? There's no negotiation. We don't negotiate prices. You want to know how much profit we make in the home? It's easy. We're a public traded company. Last year was 8.2%. Our profit margin is very small. because we sell in large quantity. But we don't negotiate prices. That's important for people to know. But what we do is that once the people buy the home, if we tell you the price of the home is $330, it's with everything, and all the single families in townhomes come already with the pool included. So there's no headache trying to go and find how much of the options are going to cost, if it's going to make your home $80,000 more expensive, right? You already know that everything is set up. It's very simple, easy, especially for a foreign national to understand. How much is the home? This is the price. No surprises. That's it. So here you are at Champions Gate. To date, the most successful short-term project in the history of our city. We're going to show you a little bit of it, but I need to answer a couple of questions that are important. One of the last researches done in brick and mortar travel agencies about Orlando is that they were asking, when the clients try to book a hotel in Orlando, what are the first questions that they ask you to choose the hotel? The first one was, how close am I to Disney, right? And so let me answer that question, about 9 to 10 minutes from Disney. Because we're sitting right on that. Right? Now the second question is not how close am I to Universal. I wish it was, but it's not. The second question is, how many restaurants do I have around me? And the reason is that because people that come to Orlando frequently, they know that by the end of the day, they don't want to have 2 meals inside the parks. They want to have lunch inside the park, but the dinner they would rather have in a restaurant somewhere because the food inside the parks is not necessarily very good. They want to have dinner, but they are so exhausted and tired of walking for miles that they want to have dinner in 5 minutes in their room or in their hotel or in their house, right? So to answer the question, how many hotels, how many restaurants do we have here in Champions Gate? As of now, we have 23 restaurants open inside Champions Gate.
23个餐馆加
So they have plenty of options to choose in terms of food. And if people want to go shopping, about 7 minutes from us, the airport's 35 minutes. If you want to go shopping, about 7 minutes from us, you have a new shopping center as well, which is massive. It continues to develop. But all the major brands that Americans like to buy things that, they're there.
因为它气氛旁边会有一个outlet，然后就是你不但可以去游乐场玩，完了之后想购物的话，这边也会有一个奥特莱斯，就只需要7分钟的路程，所以也是非常适合旅游游客过来这边居住，这个或者就是订这个短租房。
They are buying a city. And now what we wanted to do is turn this also into not a community, but to be perceived as a destination. And several things were done in that aspect, and I'm going to cover some of those. So one thing that we did that's quite unique is that we mixed residential homes with short-term homes. We have both here. This is the only community today in the city that if a buyer buys a residential home, the golf, the country club membership comes